Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Yishmianu el hamichad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'lit la 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 la, Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, Panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, Panei panei shabbat nekabala. Oy B'Shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'b'sala, Toch hamonei am segula, Bo'y chala, Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, Panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, Panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, Panei panei shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, Panei panei shabbat nekabala.
I'd now like to call Aria Caligari to read the Erev Shel Shoshanim on page 654.
Erev Shel Shoshanim, Eitzei Na El Habustan, Mor Besamim, Ulvona, Lech Nifta. Laila Yored Le'at Beruach Shoshan, Yoshva, Hava El Chash Lach Dir Balat, Demer Del Ahava, Shachar Homa Yona, Rosheh Malay Telalim, Hi El Haboker Shoshana, Ekfenu. It is an evening of roses. Let us go out to the grove. Myrrh, spices, frankincense are a carpet for your tread. The night comes slowly, a breeze of rose is blowing. Let me whisper a ballad, song of love. It is dawn, a dove is cooing, your hair is filled with dew. Your lips are like a rose, the morning. I shall pick it, myself.
Thank you very much. We now rise for the Baruch on page 146.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Voed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Voed.
We read together the bottom of page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, he said. And light blended, we saw the inner and outer worlds are one as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back and climbed again, your Sinai of love. Baruch atah Adonai, haborchem amo v'Yisrael b'havara. We now continue on page 152 with the Shema.
Use the mic. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Le'olam Voed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may be seated, and we will continue with the Via Hafta on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוז ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou risest up, and when thou liest down, and when thou liest down. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Now we turn to page 158 for the Mikvah.
Ya la 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 la, got that one mixed up. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha ba'ali madonna, mi kamocha nehida b'kodesh, norat tehilot osef pele, norat tehilot osef pele. מלכותך רבונך, בוקי הים לפני משה מרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך על עולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, כמוך נהידה בקודש, נורת תהילות אוסף פלא, no ratehilo, oh say fella. Ay ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גר ישראל.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 לה.
We now read together page 161, the top of the page. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, v'akol amo Yisroel, v'al Yerushalayim. We all rise for the tefillah, beginning on page 164 and then going to 166.
Adonai, sibetai tiftach, ufi yagid tehillatech. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot, V'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבניהם אליהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מקרקע חיים וחסד, מחיי הכל ברחבים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשעני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידה מלך. מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
We continue on page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov simcha tucha etaha lahadot. Now, all to read together on page 179, grant us peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may your love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamarorek et amo Yisrael v'shalom. For those who can stand, we have a moment of silence, but you may be seated if you wish.
Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael bimru amen. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael bimru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
The Torah portion this week is Shalach Lecha, Numbers 13:1 to 15:41. And I am choosing to read a Devar Torah that was written by Rabbi Alex Kress of Beth Shalom in Santa Monica last year. It just struck a chord with me, and it's going to bring it into a more contemporary light. It's called Choose Hope, the story of Coach Ted Lasso and the biblical Khalid. In the first episode of Ted Lasso, the title character, played by Jason Sudeikis, tapes a poster above the entrance to his office. It reads simply, "Believe." The character is a small-town American football coach hired to lead a British soccer club, which Sudeikis describes as Mr. Rogers meets John Wooden. The problem is that Coach Lasso knows nothing about soccer and was intentionally hired by the club's nefarious owner to tank the team. Undeterred by the challenges, he perseveres to spread optimism and hope. In the story of the spies from this week's Parsha, Shalach Lecha, we find the Torah's version of Ted Lasso. Moses sends 12 men, one from each tribe, to scout the land of Canaan. They are tasked with finding out how many people live in the land, if the soil was rich for farming, and if their towns were fortified. After 40 days, the men return downtrodden. Though the land is flowering with milk, honey, and enormous clusters of grapes that take 2 people to carry, the spies deliver Moses and the Israelites a grim picture. The land is full of inhabitants, some so large they make the spies look like grasshoppers. Their cities are fortified, and there is no chance the wandering Israelites can make that land their home. At this news, the people weep loudly, railing against Moses. If only we had died in the land of Egypt. However, one spy had a different experience. Caleb hushed the people before Moses and said, "Let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it." Caleb's optimism and confidence stood in stark contrast to the cynicism of the other spies. While they expressed reservations and fear, Caleb expressed hope and faith. The text tells us that Caleb had a ruach acharat, a different spirit, that appears influential. A few verses after Caleb exudes positivity, another spy, Joshua, joins in and implores the Israelites to have faith. The 15th century commentator Isaac Abarbanel teaches that while Joshua had a prophetic spirit that would later inscribe him in the Canaan, Caleb had merely a human spirit. Caleb, like Ted Lasso, was just a can-do guy. Yet the story of Caleb and Ted Lasso is not only about their gift of optimism, it is that they made choices. Caleb, like Ted, could have been weighed down by cynics, but instead chose to spread light rather than darkness. Caleb, like Ted, could have kept silent in the face of such negativity, but instead chose to speak up. Caleb, like Ted, could have let the despondent undermine their faith, but instead chose to believe in themselves, the people around them, and in things unraveling in the way that they were meant to unravel. As Coach Ted Lasso sets up his office in that first episode, he hangs a few iconic pictures, sports photos whose subjects inspire him. Muhammad Ali towering over Sonny Liston, the miracle on ice at the 1980 Winter Olympics, Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson, Coach Jim Valvano winning the 1983 NCAA tournament. These moments embody the Ruach al-Herat, a different spirit of Caleb. Muhammad Ali speaking out against the war in Vietnam and losing his boxing license, a group of amateur American hockey players beating the professional Soviet Union team, heavy underdog Douglas knocking out Tyson, the unbridled optimism of Coach Jimmy V facing down a deadly cancer diagnosis to implore the world, "Don't give up, don't ever give up." These figures became legends because of the spirit they brought to the moment, a choice we are all capable of making in moments big and small. Though we might not always have the positive disposition of Ted Lasso or the boundless courage of Caleb to offer hope in the face of adversity, we do control what we say and how we act. We can hold grudges and be petty, or we can forgive. We can let challenges stop us in our tracks, or we can find a way to persevere. We can spread kindness and hopefulness, or we can drag others down. When we find ourselves at a crossroads and faced with a choice, Caleb and Ted Lasso both teach us to believe in ourselves, in others, and in the possibility that things might just work out for the best. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Probably. The Kaddish.
What?
I think the Kaddish is.
No, we do.
Yeah. Then
Oh, the morning, you're right. Okay.
actually the song would fit in right now. Why don't we do that first? We'll change it for because it goes so well with it.
I needed a break to sit down.
All right,
after
so
that.
sit down and enjoy the song. I really wanted to do something to match, so I asked Nan of exactly what she was going to speak about. And a song came to mind, and I wanted to make sure it was written by somebody Jewish. I thought that's important. And so I found this gentleman who was the son of a chazan Cantor Chaim Arluk from Buffalo. And unless you're from Buffalo, you probably didn't know this cantor. It was in the earlier part of the last century. But his son, Hyman, changed his name and became Harold Arlen, who wrote, of course, Over the Rainbow, many other fabulous songs. This one seems to sum up what you said, Dan, so I'm going to do it. The lyrics are by Johnny Mercer, who by any stretch wasn't a Jewish lyricist, but 1 out of 2 ain't bad, right? So we'll do it. Gather round me, everybody. Gather round me while I preach some. Feel a sermon coming on me. The topic will be sin, and that's what I'm again. If you wanna hear my story, then settle back and just sit tight while I start reviewing this attitude of doing right. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You've got to spread joy up to the maximum. Bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith that pandemonium will be able to walk upon the scene. To demonstrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looks so dark? Man, they said we've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In-Between. Thank you. I think it goes with the...
Very.
Next time you'll sing and I'll do the...
All right, we're going to rise as one congregation for the Mourner's Kaddish. This week's Yortzites: Irving Abramowitz, father of Mark Abramowitz; Isla Altschuler, aunt of Shirley Besser; Dylan O'Brien, husband of Faye Henning Bryant; Brenda Corin, aunt of Lori Baker; Abe Epstein, grandfather of Gail Kuhns; Rose Groden, mother of Judy Fagan; Henry Honig, father of Ruth Oppenheimer; Jack Jacobs, husband of Phyllis Jacobs; Muriel Moskowitz Kaplan, mother of Rabbi Dana Evan Kaplan; Ben Cast, father-in-law of Ruth Cast; Faye Katz, mother of David Katz; Martin Koppelman, grandfather of Stephen Bold; Daniel Rosen, father of Jerry Rosen; Earl Schatz, husband of Yolanda Schatz. And our legacy members whose Yortzites are lit: Bruce Evans, Bertram Keston, Melvin Levin, Joseph Rostholder, Joseph Schwartz, Minnie Silverstein, Charlotte Sobel. Let us rise and say together the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal, Yitgadal, Shmei Rabbah, Belma Divra Kirute, Yamich Malchute, V'chayechon, V'yumechon, V'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala Ubizman Kariv, Yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavorach, Ve'olam Omei Omaya. Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramah, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekusha, V'rechu, Le'elam Kol B'yachata, Tushbachata, B'nei Chamata, Da'amiram V'yalma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlava Rabba Mishamaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Say Shalom B'imramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yamru, Amen.
May there be abundant peace from heaven and life for all of us and all Israel, to which we say amen.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us all and to all Israel, to which we say
Amen.
Okay. Denny, the announcements.
Two short announcements. My president. Also, adult. So,
And please, before we conclude, remember we have an ice cream social in the social hall, so everyone is invited to have some ice cream and get to know one another and say hello.
Great. Please rise for the benediction. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Can you hear our song? May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
Can you hear our song? May God's light shine upon you and God be gracious to you.
Yisrael Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Can you hear our song? May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace, happiness, and love.
Amen. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. Yabba, ba, 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 bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum.